Hello, hello, everyone. Hello, hello, everyone. Hi, guys. Welcome in. Welcome in. So, what I'm going to do is welcome everyone in. We're going to wait for a few more of you guys to get here. Welcome in, Sister Sonia. Welcome in, Star Brown 7. Hi, hi, hi. Um, I wait for some of you guys to get in here. It's about to go even deeper. I am, guys, the source codes, when they just start working, they just lead you off into like literally, we just keep cracking more and more of the code. So I'm going to set up the groundwork on what we're going to do in this video today. Miss Sonia, if you will do me a favor, if at any time the audio starts to go out, I think there's something wrong with my cord connected to my mic. If it starts to go out, let me know, and then I will just go ahead and disconnect my mic and just use my computer audio. So just let me know that. So guys, another psychic investigation on the whole Charlie Kirk situation. And yesterday was a very, very important video because we went back to about 3.5 weeks ago to deal with the entity that we found connected to Candace. But now, through my psychic investigation, thank you, Sonia, through the psychic investigation, I'm starting to really, really get the vibe of this heavy, heavy witchcraft. And as if you haven't seen that video, go ahead and watch that. It's the video that I posted yesterday. But I've kind of looked back through a lot of the symbolism going on. There's some very heavy, we're getting very, very heavy um mind control things, Mason, Freemason, um, deep state, occult. And to be honest with you, we need to examine all of the X's that I found because in every single automatic writing, there is an X. And I think the X is some sort of inversion of the cross. And so, what I'm putting together here through the psychic investigation we're going to explore today is, did they all invert the cross to do witchcraft? Right? I'm not blaming anyone or judging anyone. This is just where the psychic investigation has led us today. And I think we need to revisit Miss Erika Kirk because I've been looking back through the files here and it appears that her energy has been hidden in plain sight. So, this is what we're going to do today. I'm going to wait just another moment or two for the rest of you guys to come on in here, but I want to set some foundational things. Guys, let me introduce myself. My name is Tahirah, Mother of the Ages. Welcome in. I'm so happy to be here with you guys today. And I do want to take time and say thank you for supporting me through this psychic investigation and just allowing us to explore and open up all of these like massive templates. And so the goal of this is not to necessarily really, really point the blame at one person. We want truth, of course, but it's for our souls to learn of what is going on a collective scale, because the whole purpose in life is to evolve, to advance, and you can't do that unless you know truth. Okay. And I am a supernatural quantum healer. And what that means is I heal from the quantum field, and I use over 20 different, quantum healing modalities in order to do that. So if you guys would like to book your own healing session, I have discounted that here for the month of October, and there will be some links down below. And also, I'm starting back up my quantum healing and psychic development class. It is life changing. It's a 6 weeks classroom style where we meet live on Zoom and you work with me every week. And essentially we learn, tools such as, psionics, such as learning the clairs, right? Telepathy, energy healing, Reiki, automatic writing, right? That's how I got all of these messages. We learn how to do quantum body scans. So you want to check to see if someone has an entity or an attachment, right? And we learn entity removal. We learn chromotherapy, remote viewing, Akashic records, right? Mediumship, and very, very important, quantum healing anatomy, right? So we can't do this work without understanding quantum healing modalities and anatomy. And then there's even so much more that I'm not mentioning. So if you're interested in taking this class, it'll be a lot of fun. And you'll learn a lot about yourself and how to protect yourself as well. You can email me instructions number 4 humanity@gmail.com. And last but not least, while we're waiting for everyone to come in on this good Sunday, guys, I wrote a cosmic Bible. It's called The Great Expansion. So it's The Great Expansion, a cosmic Bible for the ages. Book 1 is The Ego Divide. And this is, when I tell you this book is very, very special, because it literally explains. Now, this is a channeled book. And I always say this, I'm not that smart. I'm not that brilliant. I know that there is no one else that could have written this book except for Source. I'm not that great, and it literally explains everything that's happening, from literally what we're experiencing now to, all the volcano eruptions, natural disasters, the new heart technology, kind of AI, kind of the 1,000 years of peace, right? That it talks about in the Bible, and literally the purpose of life. So if you need guidance, this book is a really, really good tool. And it's definitely an easy read and an exciting read as well. And I was just so blessed to be a part of it, right? And yes, so guys, we're going to go ahead and get started here. The messages are already starting to come in. Welcome, welcome. Mark of the beast. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the X. Davis, you're right on it. How did you know? You're in my mind. How did you know what we were going to talk about? I know you removed it, but you're right. You must be channeling, because how did you know where we were going? Okay, guys, we need to really talk. So the first thing I want to say is we're going to go deeper into the psychic investigation, because, I think that Erika's energy, even though it's stealth-like and it's barely there, remember I said she's missing? But her signature, if we look deeper, her signature has been here the whole time. It's just been very, very quiet, right? So here's the thing. I'm going to tell you what's going on with Candace Owens. Since our last, healing, we did a healing session on her yesterday. There's still a lot more work to do. One thing you have to know is what we found yesterday is that there has been witchcraft done. As yesterday, we spoke about it on a collective scale. I want to scale it back to bring it back into this 3D realm and explore Erika as part of the witchcraft, because my findings are kind of leading me towards that she was part of this witchcraft. And it's not just one person. It feels like a network of sorts going on. So I want to scale it back down here to the 3D realm. So yesterday, guys, something very interesting happened when we were doing a new automatic writing on Candace Owens. I found that there was some sort of like witch's nail in down in her lower abdomen, which will be the root chakra area, which is where the attachment was. And this is where I want to start off. So that's what we're going to start off with. But I want to tell you Candace Owens' energy right now. Is still the self-destruction energy. As if I was channeling this a few weeks back, there was a very popular song, I think it was in the 1980s. It was Self-Destruction. You headed for self-destruction. That song is coming up for Candace Owens, and that song has come up before. But you want to know the weird thing is when I went to the actual video on YouTube, it said who the song was by, right? And then it said Floyd, and then it said Floyd X. So now these are the source codes, right, that I'm being led to. The X is the part that in every single automatic writing, which is the X is kind of the unknown thing. But as we know, the X represents some sort of interference. And I believe the interference is actually witchcraft. So when we go to this sort of self-destruction kind of energy that I get from Candace Owens, it's much bigger than Candace Owens. Um, I believe that it's talking about the entire landscape of America right now. Because you guys remember, I also mentioned that Beyonce has a song called America Has a Problem. And I was also channeling that song very early on within the whole Charlie Kirk saga. Now, when I go to play the video for the song Self Destruction, one of the first things it says in the lyrics is America has a problem. So make no mistake about it, the whole Charlie situation is alerting us to America has a problem and then also self-destruction. So on one end, I'm getting self-destruction as I kind of sink in with Candace. However, this is what's going on in America, and there's a very heavy civil war energy with the division of the states. This is the self destruction, right? So, this thing is much larger. It's very multidimensional, and we're going to explore Erika Kirk's involvement as it has to do with this kind of self destruction energy and witchcraft that leads somehow to the fall of America. So there's a lot to get into, but I found it interesting that the the word the name Floyd is coming up because remember George Floyd is part of the ritual. Charlie Kirk was the completion of that 4-year cycle ritual because they both are born on the same date. George Floyd born on October 14th as Charlie Kirk was also born on October 14th, right? So this could be the completion of the witchcraft ritual. So let's just stay tuned because October 14th is in 2 days. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens. And October 14th is also a day that me and my friend were channeling that has something to do with something in our financial markets. Because as we know that, the government's on shutdown. The government's on shutdown because of the reset they're doing. Because also I'm hearing all alleged now, girl, but they're burning files. That's what I'm hearing. They're burning files right now. And their system is no longer antiquated. I don't know what that means. What's an antiquated system, guys? The system is no longer antiquated. Old fashioned and outdated. So they're moving from an outdated system, antiquated, to a more sophisticated system, which obviously will probably involve the AI, which we will talk about the 3I Atlas. Source says no, it's AI Atlas. So just know that this is what's coming, and it's a grand wizard mothership, which ties us back to this witchcraft energy that we're going to explore with Erika Kirk. So you see where all we're going, but right now in this moment, I am getting the vibe because I get the vibes all the time, right? I'm getting the vibe that they're burning files and their system is being updated to an AI system. There are things that we will never know. There are things in those EP files which are being burned. That's also too what I'm getting of why this thing is shut down. I don't think we'll ever get those files. But there's a self-destruction energy, and that's probably part two of the self-destruction. But it is America self-destructing because part of it, they are literally self-destructing to save their own butts as well. Okay, so we have to know that. Okay. Now, it was very interesting this morning. I don't know how I was putting this together, but I was I was looking at the cross. Something I was thinking about all of these X's everywhere. And something led me to look at the cross. And I want to bring that up for you guys because, you know, the spirit just ain't never lied. And I said to myself, I bet if you turn the cross 33 degrees, it would make an X. This is what I thought in my head. I said, I bet you if you turn the cross 33 degrees, it would make and form an X. This is what I posed to myself. It's the question that we pose to ourselves when we want to psychic investigate, right? We have to ask ourselves these kinds of questions, right? So now I'm going to bring up a picture if it lets me. Hold on. If it lets me, I'll bring up a picture here just so we can kind of take a look at what I was kind of getting the vibe, right? It's kind of getting the vibe, and that this has a lot to do. I'm going to show this to you first, and then I'm going to tell you what I truly believe that this Turning Point USA was kind of code for. Okay. This is the vibe I was getting, guys. I was getting the vibe that if we were to Turning Point USA, look here at this cross here burning. I was also channeling KKK. Look here at this cross, and I'm not going to make it bigger because I don't know what the page is going to open up to. But you can clearly see there's an X there. And if you were to kind of imagine turning it 33 degrees to the right or to the left, you would see it is a clear X. Okay? X. It says child former Ku Klux Klan Grand Wizard. Remember? Who's coming, guys? AI Atlas. Source, it's 3i Atlas, but source says no, it's AI Atlas. It will be an AI mothership, but source calls it a Grand Wizard mothership. So when I looked up Grand Wizard, it brought me here to the KKK, guys. And then I posed the question, what would happen if we turned the cross 33 degrees? And it would, in fact, get an X. And I didn't know that the X was the symbol of the Ku Klux Klan. I had no way of knowing that, right? And so the Grand Wizard, when we look at these robes, it looks very, and look at those triangles that's been popping up in everyone's reading. Look, there's the one for Candace. And so I think we're right where we need to be. And I want to point something out that I feel that I'm going to stop sharing. What I truly feel that we are about to explore today, we're about to get into, is that this Turning Point USA, this is the underbelly of it, not how it presents. And even the people that work for it could be ignorant to this fact. But the underbelly of it, it is an inversion of Christianity. It's an inversion of the cross. This cross, this Mason, I don't know nothing about Masonic whatever, but I know what source is saying is that if you turn this thing 33 degrees, it will give you an X. And underneath the X, you can work in secrecy. The X has been a symbolism of something unknown, something powerful, something revolutionary, you know. And also, too, the X has also been known for the symbol of Christ. And I was watching a video, my research led me to, that there was another crucifixion. They were explaining that the crucifixion could also have been an X. There was another story, kind of, that archaeologists were looking into. So I want to just point that out. But see, the X is one thing, but the Grand Wizard, when I was channeling AI Atlas, 3i Atlas, Sir said it's a Grand Wizard mothership coming. And when I looked up Grand Wizard, it led me to the KKK. And so obviously the KKK, so when we look at Turning Point USA, there was a rise of the white nationalism, which actually took the vehicle. Remember, Christianity and all these religions are a vehicle to move money and power from point A to point B. So when we look at the Turning Point USA as this vehicle that is attached to the cross, so to speak, because I believe in my heart, because I have friends that love Charlie Kirk. I do. And I let them have their opinion. Everyone is entitled to it. And one of the things, that the common thread that these friends have, is that they are Christians. And so they align with him simply because he said he was a Christian. And sometimes we can align with people from the words they say and forget to align with, what they embody, right? And sometimes when someone says, I'm a Christian, we ignore everything else that they do, because that word, that symbol of the cross, has what? It's the salvation after all. If the blood was shed for it. So even if you are a horrible person or whatever, if you just say Christian or put that cross in our face, we will just kind of ignore it and say, this person is a work in progress. God is still working on them, right? But today we want to peel back the layers, because I think this cross is being used for some very nefarious things. And the cross has been manipulated through all of the Freemasons and the secret societies to actually do the work of the dark lizards, of this Grand Wizard. And as we know, the AI Atlas, 3i Atlas, is a AI Grand Wizard mothership that has been produced to emit, harmful frequencies, and to literally siphon and stifle the ascension of humanity. That is what it's for. And Erika as well, I believe that she's wrapped up in this as well. Okay? Give me a second. Guys, please. More than half of you guys that watch this channel on a regular basis are not subscribed. I need you guys to subscribe to the channel, because my channel from day one has been heavily suppressed, and this will help more people find this kind of content. I put my heart, my soul, my passion into this. So please do subscribe to the channel, and please like the video when you come in, guys. Okay, so that's the first thing you have to know. They are manipulating Christianity. But what they are, all these people, it's not just Turning Point USA. I believe, like I said, Charlie was a pawn from day one. The man who invested in Charlie was already setting all of this stuff up in the background, all the Masonic stuff and everything. That was all going on. I believe that Charlie was groomed. The man that you see was groomed. And he was also groomed through the eyes of Christianity. This thing, I'm telling you, can get people involved in things, because if someone smacks a cross on it, smack a Christian label, or put Jesus' face on it, it will just go ahead and excuse all of the rest of the fuckery that's going on. And this is what we have been excusing as a collective soul body. And we need to start opening up these symbols and see what it is that we are actually partaking in. So when you see the cross, they have tainted this thing. And I am telling you, the Turning Point USA, the turning point, turning the cross to the X, and the white nationalism, it went so far right that the white nationalism was almost giving the KKK vibes. Seriously, guys, that is what it was giving. And so now when we look at the cross under the guise of white nationalism or far right, or the people who follow Trump, even if they have no food to eat, even if they literally have no house, it's the people that follow him. Well, Trump is amazing. Trump is making America great again. They will follow him to their own demise when they don't know Trump ain't even running this no more. Trump is not here. We've discussed that. And I think even last year we said that this would happen, that he would in fact be replaced. So everything is playing out exactly as, as we have already called it. So, want you guys to understand that now what we're dealing with in all of this, and we're going to get back here, we're dealing with a mutation essentially, because we're dealing with, it's either one or two things. Either the cross was never holy, like they said, either the cross was never about anything Christian, upright, good, Christ-like, Jesus-like, virtual, I mean, what, virginal. Either it was never that, or it's been manipulated. Facts. I just saw a moth. So here's the thing, guys. This is kind of what I am saying, right? And so when we think about the X, it also what the Christ. When we think about Christmas, sometimes we say Xmas, right? Instead of Christmas, X marks the spot. We also think about that in a good way, in a holy way. So, X is a very, very powerful, symbol. And so I believe that this is why they have literally taken it, because X is part of the cross. But they have taken it and they have converted it and tarnished it and turned it into a symbol of, witchcraft. I don't know what else to say. So I want to get back to something I was channeling, Reconstruction area. Ooh. Reconstruction era. Error. Ooh. Okay. If you guys are new here, nothing is by accident. These are not just slips. This is messages. So we're going to have some sort of reconstruction. I wanted to say reconstruction era, but I said error. So right now, what is happening? The government is closed down. It's being reconstructed. It's going from an antiquated system, an old, outdated system, to a more AI system. They are burning files, Epstein, and files and documents and all of that stuff. Literally, like, where it's going to be really hard to reconstruct everything. There will be an error in what they're doing. Something that they're doing hidden from us. There will be an error in all of this stuff. So put that in our back pocket. Just know that, right? So now, here's the thing. Yesterday in Candace Owens' reading, there was a witch's finger that came up, right? And I want to show this to you guys once again. I'm going to probably point it. I drew an arrow so you guys would see it. And do you see it there where the arrow is? There's like a nail, a finger, and a nail bud. There's also a face in there as well. There's also, let me show you what else is in there. There's now when I look back, we get Erika's energy in there. These are E's. I'm not sure if it's mirroring for you guys, but when I look straight on, it's an E. To you guys, it may look like a 3 because it's mirroring, but straight on, these are E's. What am I looking at? Remember I said Candace Owens has an attachment down in the root chakra area, and I was seeing some sort of witch's nails. But Erika E is showing up right above this. This is her stomach area here. That would be the bottom of the root chakra going up to her stomach. This is her back here. Her head is kind of slouched down. Her crown is crooked. I didn't realize that her crown is also an E. So who's above Candace Owens? This E. You see? It's an E for Erika. Erika is attached to this X. Erika was always prepped and primed, like I said. She took some sort of contractor oath at the age of 14, and she was always primed to do this. I was never getting witchcraft energy at first, but now she's showing up secretly in everyone's automatic writing. And we're going to get to all the rest and all the other E's that I have found, right? But the thing about, I want you guys to understand the nail that I found in Candace Owens, root chakra area is also too, when we zone out, when source tells me that the 3-eye atlas is AI atlas. And not only is it an AI atlas, but it is an AI grand wizard mothership. And when I happen to look at the, like what does a grand wizard, look like? It brought me to the KKK stuff. But remember, hold on. Remember what I also said? I recorded it. I'll just tell you. So I saw the grand wizard, and it was this old decrepit witch woman, and her hands were conjoined together, like her fingers were all decrepit and joined together. And so when I actually was researching on the KKK, the X, right, I found this picture, Grand Wizard. This came up. He has a little Masonic little symbol on his shoulder. And then look at the staff, guys. The staff looks a lot like the fingers that have been showing up in the dream that my sister had, where she actually saw the witch stick a guy in the back of the neck, which I presume is Charlie, but also showing up the automatic writing where there is actual fingers in the womb space of Candace Owen. And then look here, look at the staff. This looks like a thumb. These look like fingers together. And remember, I said her nail grew and it got really long and pointy. So what this is, what we're looking at, is a confirmation of where did the witch originate from. The witch originated from these secret societies, the Masonic order, the Masons. And I don't know if they're all connected. I presume that they are. Illuminati and the deep state and all of this, I presume they're all connected. So what we're looking at here is just a confirmation of the hands that I've found in the sacral space, or the womb space of Candace Owens. That's what it looked like, guys. So not only is this witch funneled through the Masons or the secret societies, this is the witchcraft that they use to, do their dark bidding, right? And the witchcraft that they use to do their dark bidding, they obviously have to use someone to go ahead and implement that. I like to think of it as a template. So this grand wizard witch is a template. And someone who is versed in witchcraft can use this template that is already out there. I believe this is what Erika was trained to do, because we have identified, in fact, of where it came from. And there was even a time where Candace Owens mentioned that she was one of the Masons at Turning Point USA. I think Charlie even said it. And so, we could think about, oh, they're one of the builders. But no, they use these. See, nothing is by accident. Even when you mess up on a word, you see that's the subconscious telling you, kicking in what the true energy is leading you to. So even if she didn't mean it like that, or she messed up and said it like that, it doesn't matter because she already said it. And it has already shown up in Candace Owens, energy field. That, this is Candace Owens once again. That's her jaw, nose, forehead, head. That's her true self being X'd out. The X, in addition to this witchcraft template, the X now becomes the mutated cross. So, what these people, I don't care if they tell you they're Christian on Sundays or whatever, I don't care how many Bible verses that they can recreate or speak or whatever it is that they're doing, recite, remember. I don't care. What I am saying is, what I am getting is that all of these elites, they're all part of, the 1% that has been kicking our butt since the beginning of time and even after death. They're all part of it. And the thing that they tell you to give your life to the cross. When you go and you take communion, what do they tell you? You need to what? You need to honor Jesus dying on the cross. You got to what? Drink that blood. Because, they can't get enough of that stuff. Got to drink the blood. But not only do you have to do that, you got to partake in cannibalism. And you better eat that body. Or you're not Christ-like unless you partake in cannibalism. I'm just saying, y'all, it's right in front of our face. I'm just saying. No shade if you do it, but that, because it's skewed, it's mutated. So when you're doing it out of you want to honor Christ. They're not doing it from that. They've mutated this thing long ago. And when they turned that cross 33 degrees, they now created some sort of grand wizard, which is what is coming down on a mothership. That is what the 3-eye atlas is. The thing that they created long ago from the cross, from our energy. They took our energy, said to pour our energy into the cross. They siphoned. And this is why there is power in the name of Jesus. There is absolute power. If you call the name of Jesus, these demons will flee. I remove entities for a living. I'm telling you what I know. But remember, there's duality in every single thing. You don't think that we're also being led to pour our energy into their tools? I'm just saying we got to play devil advocate, because if we don't look at this thing, God is not going to fault us for examining the truth, for trying to find out what the truth is. Our true Father, don't you think our true Father God wants us to know the truth? Yeah, I would say so. And if we got to go through a lot of different, could this be it? Could this be it? Could this be it? Just to find the truth out, I think it's worth it. So what I'm saying is they mutated that cross. Now there's another story floating out there. You won't find this in any biblical text, and you can take it with a grain of salt. There's another story that Christ was actually hung. That's a sidebar, and I'm just saying, because I haven't done research into that. But all I'm saying is this. We were told that that was our salvation. We literally went into whole other civilizations, and they murked and killed and murdered millions of people in the name of that symbol. So just as much as that symbol can help you and that can protect you, it can also kill you. And we've seen it. And this is common sense here. This ain't even me in the spirit. This is just when you're conscious about things, you just be knowing what's up. This is why they demonize the word woke, which was always used in the Black community as someone who was conscious, outside of the system, sovereign in their mind. And they had to collude that and make it seem like it was a leftist term. It was never that. They don't want you putting the source codes together. Okay? Because this is what we're doing. So I'm here to tell you everything has duality. The cross is salvation, it's safety and protection. But through their inversion and mutation, what is it also? Something that, what, through the KKK, it burns down things. Going and preaching the gospel. And if you do not accept the cross, if you don't accept this good book and salvation, it will kill you. We need to wake up. We need to wake up and understand that that is what's going on. Guys, please, please subscribe to the channel. Please put my heart and my soul into this and like the video. And anytime if the sound goes out, please let me know. I have a faulty cord here. So that's the first thing that you have to know. So what do we know? What do we know? We know that the Turning Point USA, I believe that Charlie was primed into this white nationalism, because as we see, white nationalism is just Christianity on the right. Christianity is a vehicle that they use to transfer money and power. And we see that the white nationalism, this kind of movement, it is leading us back in, it has led me back to the KKK. So whether you say that that is what it is or not, I'm telling you, energetically, me as a psychic investigator, this is where it has led me to. So when you align with that, this is the energy you are going to get. It truly is death and destruction. But more importantly, what it is, it's a mutation of Christ. It's a mutation of everything good. It's a mutation of Jesus. This is what I'm saying. And it's a mutation of us, because the only way it's powerful is because we all have poured our energy into it. So what came first, the chicken or the egg? Like I said, we are the human technology, and you are also the God. You are the energetic currency of God. You were created and birthed of soul and of spirit. Therefore, you could never be without God. And they have found a way through the cross to literally have us exert our energy. And then what they did, here's the ritual, and here's the witchcraft. You catch it? I'm seeing it. Sorry, Erika, we're going to get back to you, but I'm already in the larger template. Here's the ritual, and here's the spell. After they siphon all of our energy, it's just like Ariel, siphoning the voice. It's just like genie in a bottle, right? They put all that into the object. These objects, even things in your house, hold energy, and they could be holding spirits and all of this stuff. So that object has all of our energy, all of the goodness. When we worship and we pray to it and we literally pour through our emotional body, we literally coat that thing with literally part of our DNA, with our passion, with everything good that we have. The glory, the true glory of the Most High is poured in when we are doing our worship, right? And then they take that, and the ritual and how they do is they turn it 33 degrees. But catch it, here's the thing. When they turn it 33 degrees, they cut you off from it, because then they tell you the thing is only external. When we know that we have 33 vertebrae, and when the energy rises from the base of the spine, so when your consciousness, when your whole body is in alignment and in attunement, sorry, y'all, we're going to church, and in attunement with literally your God power, then the energy, the Kundalini, starts to rise up through the 33 vertebrae. And then it activates the pineal gland, the third eye, and then literally your pineal gland secretes a oil, something like an oil. They tell you to block yourself out from that. That's evil. So when they turned that thing, they locked us into a linear way of thinking, because the law says, as within, so without, as above, so below. And that's the cross. As within, so without. As above, so below. That forms a cross. That law of duality forms a cross. And in fact, you won't even get to even have the full salvation of that cross until you experience the polarity of each, as within, so without, as above, so below. But when they turn it, they skew it, and then it cuts the cross off. It cuts you off from actually completing the mathematical equation, which is source, from completing the source code. So that's how, another reason why we're getting locked. When we get locked into the linear thinking through their spell work, we're literally locked out of our advancement and evolution and ascension. That's all that I'm saying. And source just ain't never lied. That one hit. That one hit, right? Like the video, guys. That one hit. So that's what I'm telling you. Now, let's go ahead and get back to the curious case of Erika and her spell work. So we found out what it was on a, that was the macro level that we've just explored. Now, on a micro level, I believe that Erika Kirk was doing a lot of work over at Turning Point USA. And what I mean by a lot of work, I think a lot of witchcraft on Candace Owens and also her husband. Because this is one of the first automatic drawings that I did for Candace Owens. And of course here, that's Candace Owens right here. That's her true self. This part is X'd out. Remember, she was susceptible to an entity. But now when we zone out, who's the entity? Yes, it's reptilian in nature, but there's layers to it. Reptilian in nature is the draconian reptilians, and we say, or the Anunnaki, that actually, is keeping us in here, but it's really attached to the draconian reptilians, right? But on another scale, the witch that they've conjured up through the ritual that they did with the cross is literally who Erika is literally a physical representation to do that spell work. Because we didn't see this at first, but this energy, I never actually were exploring what that is. But this, when I look at it on my end straight ahead, it is an E. When you guys look at it, it won't look like an E. It'll just look like a blob. Let me see if I turn it this way, will you see the E? Yeah, if I turn it this way, you will see kind of the E. That is Erika energy. And it's showing up for me on my left side. You guys know my left side is always my side for entity. It's always my side for more denseness, or even we're talking, left brain, kind of more masculine brain. Her energy is showing up there. Okay, so that's the first thing you have to know. And there's an X, Xing out. Remember the X, which is the inversion of the cross, which is the Masonic energy, Xing Candace Owens' true self out. Who's holding her there on the left side, blocking her true self in, is the E for Erika. And remember, this is Charlie once again. I got an X on the back of the neck. So the hit out was, like I said, there was some sort of witch that stuck a man in the back of the neck through a prophetic dream. And my energy from day one always drew me to the back of the neck, never the front. Doesn't mean something didn't happen to the front. It just means that the energy is more prevalent in the back. And it lines up with the prophetic dream. And it lines up with that long nail and the witch's nail. That is part of this grand wizard witch, right? There's an X here. The X, like I said before, is the inversion of the cross. So who's also binding down Charlie? And then here's the bondage in the feet. There's his back. He's sitting on his bum. His legs are folded. He's in a position of weakness. there's the X again, which is the inversion of the cross. When I tell you, when I said here that it was the religions that done this to him, the church, and Kirk means church. The last name Kirk means church. When I sat up here last week and said it was the church who did it in the grand scheme of things, this is still reigning to be true. But also to Erika's energy, I think is heavily involved in the X. Okay, so now let's explore another one. This was the second automatic drawing I did for Candace Owens, which I never really explored all these squiggly lines. I never understood what it was. But when I look at them on my, just looking at them front, they are E's. There's an E down here. You guys probably can't see it. There is an E here. Let me flip it for you. Well, it looks like a 3 for you, but it looks like an E for me. Because it's switched around because the computer mirrors it. So these are E's. So I want to point something out. This E for the second automatic drawing that I did for Candace Owens, let me circle it, is still on the left side, which is my side for entity. So we got one E showing up on the left side. Could be your right, it's my left. And we got smaller E's showing up on the left side, which is still my side for entity. Entity and Erika. You can't even make this up. You can't make it up. And then when I flip it over, we get a 9/11 energy. This is the 9, the circle, right? This is the Tower of Babel, but it's also 9/11 energy. Here's the circle, right? And here's a long line for 9, and then 1, 1. Charlie passed away on 9/10, which was still, as Source said, it was still within the 9/11 portal. And so literally we really became that kind of passing, whatever passing for Charlie was literally in alignment with the 9/11 vibration. And now the template is, they've added layering to make the 9/11 more dramatic, right? With this whole thing. But look, there's still X's here. An X here. If you turn it this way, there's still an X here. There's X's all over this thing. You turn it back upright, an X here, an X here. The inversion of the cross, the inversion of the church, the inversion of Christianity. So when I tell you who took him out was the church, his last name means church, you can't make it up. Now, this was the second automatic drawing I did for Erika. This is Charlie. But not only is it Charlie, it's also talking about the AI, the 3-eye atlas. I keep calling it AI because that's what it is. This is C for Charlie. Charlie, going back to Charles means freeman, free man. That is crossed out. So we're not a free man because remember, Charlie's not a free man. And also he's representing the collective. And this is C for collective as well. We're not a free man. The line is going down here. Look, there's an E here. There's an E. You guys see it as a 3, but when I look at it, it's an E because it's mirroring, right? So now if I flip it over, E. And when I turn this to the side, these are nothing but E's. You guys see them as 3s, but for me, they're E's. I hope you can follow along. E, 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 E. So her energy is part of this collective witchcraft that I already explained. She's part of this grand wizard witch. She's a helper of it. The witch is very, collective, right? It's massive, but I believe that Erika Kirk was seeding witchcraft daily through, remember, she would talk to Charlie through these like mind control rhythms. Sometimes the MK Ultra guys doesn't have to be them taking you to a facility to alter part of your consciousness. Sometimes it's just someone talking to you in a certain pattern, right? Priming you with a certain subject, with a certain word pattern. Sometimes it's that too. Remember, she used to talk to Charlie like that. That came up very early on. I believe she had something to do with putting Candace together with her husband, because the husband, something with that hasn't come out in the wash yet, but it will. And the energy is leading us to the United Kingdom as well, and I'm sure we'll get there. But this is really just her, the E, showing up again in Candace Owens' field, the E for Erika. And every time Erika's around, there is an X as well. This was also another automatic drawing on Erika. This is different from everyone else's X because her X's are also circled on the end. They're more profound. It's like they're being anchored in place. No one else has anchors on their X's. No one else. Candace. Candace again. X. X. Charlie. X. X. So when I'm telling you who is Erika working for, she's part of the applying the everyday witchcraft. She's anchored in it. She's the only one that literally has anchors on her exes. It's like she is part of it. I hope you can understand that. And then even going back to the last automatic writing that I did with Candace Owens, this would be, like I said, she's in the same positioning that Charlie was, now defeated. This is her head down, back. She got the weight of the world on her back. She can't spread her wings. She's sitting on her bum, and her feet are about to get anchored into something, so she can't move. And look, there's an E there. What I'm getting is that Erika has always been involved with the entity, the witch, right? The whole time from the very beginning. And guys, this could even supersede this life, because when I first started channeling Candace, this brought me back to some of her ancestors. This thing could be lifetimes back. And I'm hearing that it's at least 3 generations back, or 3 lifetimes pushed back, is what I'm hearing. So this is some delayed stuff they got going on. This is some delayed whatever that is now catching up in this lifetime. So her energy, guys, I don't want to make this video too long, but her energy is involved in the X. And to be honest with you, what is the X? Remember her Romanian, I want to call it Romanian Devils. Remember that organization that they said she had at the age of 17, foundation? And the people, the children in Romania were going missing. They called it Romanian angels. I'm literally saying Romanian devils. That's literally the first thing that came out of my mouth. I was about to say out of my life, right? Get out of my life. I don't want that in my life. So that's literally That's her energy. Erika is wrapped up with, the devil, because the thing about it is when you skew the cross, when you turn the cross, the 33-degree, you get a mutation of it, right? And so what was now good, because God is just good with one D taken out, right? So now what was good now becomes evil. If you add a D to evil, you get devil, right? They put this right in front of our face. This is not as woo woo and scary as you think that the devil is, because here on this channel, we kick the devil's ass on a daily. I ain't afraid of no devil and I ain't afraid of no demon. This is how we got to get to, because they got us in fear when all along they had to siphon your energy through the cross to even do their little ritual. So who's the one with the power? It's us. We've always been the one with the power. It's always been us. So I think, to be honest, there's so much more I could say, and probably so much more that I need to say. But, oh, the E is here too. It looks like a 3 on your end, but when we flip it on my end, when I look at it, it is an E. It's an E. And so that's confirming when I say it's 3 lifetimes in the past. I was getting transatlantic slave ship energy for these right here. So I think that these two souls had some sort of dealing with each other during the times of slavery, because that would be kind of 3 lifetimes, in the past. And it looked like Candace was always trying to escape her. Because remember what I said about Candace Owens? She's like, I'm not going back there. I'm not going back to this energy, back to slavery times. But also the slavery, this has Erika's energy in it as well. So I don't know if Erika was, I don't know. Because guys, I know we look at it like, okay, Candace is black. She had to be a slave, not necessarily because we switch roles. Candace could have easily been a white person back then, and Erika could have easily been a black person back then. So we can't necessarily say that, because sometimes we do get different earth suits that are different races, right? So I think I think I'm going to leave this video here, because girl, I do not want this thing to be too long, guys. But like the video and subscribe to the channel, guys. And I love you so much. The only thing I want us to remember is that if we look, there's a common thread that I have been pulling together through all of the source codes, and the common thread has been our energy. Do you notice that? How in all of the readings, somehow the siphon from our energy actually leads to them being able to do one thing or the other. So when I tell you guys, you're so powerful, you have no idea how powerful you are. I want to let you know that, like, because that's just coming through in all the readings that we've been doing for almost a month, and it's our energy that moves things. We are the movers and the shakers here, because we are birth of pure spirit consciousness. And that's the thing to remember. And we got to get out of all these boxes and the divisionary tools they put us in to siphon our energy, when they divide us into to race and even nationality and religions and all of this. It's just for them to literally divide and conquer, so that they can eat off of our energy. Literally drink our blood and eat our body, girl, like they doing to the Christ. Like, I mean, it's crazy. Don't let these people fool you. They are not Christ-like. They have literally caused a mutation to the cross. And literally, it feels like now we got to cleanse the cross. Literally, that's what it feels like now. Now we got to cleanse the cross from their freaking mutation and disease. Because, it's kind of crazy how humanity doesn't even know who to trust anymore. We don't even know if it's God is good, if Jesus, if it's it, Muhammad is this, because of all of the witchcraft that they've done on us. But when we scale it back, one thing that has remained true is that we have been their energy source the whole time, guys. And what have I always said from day one? God is a energetic currency. You were literally formed from the energy. And that's why the scientists say energy can't be created nor destroyed, because energy is God. So when I sit here and I say I'm channeling energy, that is part of God, because it can't be destroyed, and neither can God be created, because God always was and always will be. And that is you too. But they don't have that. The one percenters, which are attached to the draconian reptilians, when we get these various religions, this is who we're getting, guys. When they want to play that polarity system on us, they turn the cross this way or that way. They have it upright. They tell us to exert all of our energy and our money, which is your energetic currency, by the way. And then they take it and they take it back to their freaking Masonic lodges. And then they laugh and they get fed off our energy. I'm telling you, that is what they've been doing to humanity. And this is why on a collective scale, we can't get free from the collective, dragon, from the collective, reptilian. Because they got people like Erika that will work for the Dark Lords. On a smaller level, Erika might just think she's doing a little bit of spell work. But if you magnify this and you have millions of these witches out, what do you think is going to happen? It's going to be a stronghold, right? It's going to become a stronghold, guys. I'm going to open to a random page in the Great Expansion, the Cosmic Bible for the Ages, and I want to read it. And I'm going to read from page 41. Oh, let me read from page 40. I'm reading from the bottom of page 40. And this is, in this book, this character that I channel, I call him Father God, right? It's 5 aspects of Source. So Father God says, it's not about fairness. It's about the righteousness of the light. The light is orderly in nature, and the light will always recorrect. It's on autopilot. There's nothing we can do. This is the whole point of what I'm trying to tell you about group consciousness. It doesn't move to your beat, and we're sorry for that. Ooh, we kind of messed up this creation on Earth. You all think we move to your individual beat. That is not true. This is a direct violation of the universe, which is why the 5-night stampede must happen. The destruction must happen, and in return, we will be destroyed as well. We will be corrected by Source, rebuked, and put straight. Put straight. And this is very important, guys, because when I talk about Source God, this is why I always, kind of really want to use that term for God, because what we're trying to explain when we talk about Source is the Most High. It means there isn't anything higher, right? So as of in this book, as from my level of consciousness, I'm channeling 5 aspects of Source, in which we are all aspects of Source. So this particular character, which I call Father God, which is Father God Armand, which is the actual name that was channeled, is saying, look, it's all about the righteousness of the light. The light is what will course correct. So in one way, guys, we don't actually have to worry, because the light, the righteousness of the light, will always course correct any mistakes, any mutations, anything. Because even no matter how important you are, no matter how many gods there is, even gods can be rebuked by Source's light. And I hope you can understand that, because the light that governs Source is the Most High. When we look at depictions of the Christ and you look at depictions of Jesus, I want you to Google it. Look at pictures of Jesus. There's always a light or a sun behind his head. When you look at a lot of these religions, they'll have their deity with a light behind their head because what they are alluding to is the light that governs all creations. We have a natural checks and balance in this multi-sphere. And no one is absent from the rebuke, which is the correction of the codes, of the source codes of the light. Okay. Well, I think that that's all I want to say. I want you guys to have an enjoyable rest of your day, your Sunday. And it should be very interesting to see what happens on October 14th, because as we know, that's Charlie Kirk's birthday. It's also George Floyd's birthday. So let's just hope that there's not any weird events that happen on that day. And at the end of the day, we are the ones that they're actually using our energy for this whole thing. Even the reptilians, even as scary and as big as they appear to be, all of this stuff is just to siphon our energy because they don't have their own source energy. They don't have it, guys. I'm telling you. We are the chosen ones. We are it, guys. We are it. So that's all I wanted to say. That's all I wanted to say. But I love you guys so very much. I love you. Seriously, I really do. And please subscribe to the channel, like the video. There'll be some links down below if you want to purchase the book, book a healing session, spiritual diagnosis, all of that. Guys, if you're interested in my class, email me. I'm going to do this class in about 4 weeks, November 10th starting. And we're going to learn like over 20 different quantum healing techniques, right? The psychic technology is what I call it, and all of that. So just email me instructions number4humanity@gmail.com. I love you guys. Love you, love you, love you. And so it is. Oh, are we not supposed to buy crypto? Okay. All right. Sorry. Thank God I saw this. Here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. I was thinking about that today as well. I am warrior. They have inverted this thing. But remember, the original X was good. And the inversion, it's duality. It's all duality. So I'm going to come back and do a video on that because I want to hear what Source has to say about that. But just know that these people, everything they do, I don't care how good they tell you it is, they literally will invert everything. And it's everything. So even if it doesn't even matter what you do, there's a good version of it, and then there's a bad version, right? This is the polarity of this life. So, but to be honest with you, we're moving towards a total. Here's the thing about, I will say this about crypto and I'll leave. There will come a time very soon where there will be no paper dollars. There will only be crypto. So you having crypto in that regard is good, because you will be ahead of 95% of the people who have not purchased crypto yet. However, on the flip side, when they get the paper dollars out of our hands, what might these evil ones do once they have total power? They will have the ability to turn off your crypto, turn your cards off, turn everything off. If you say anything that goes against, them, right? And so, which we're moving towards that now. If you notice, people can't even say anything about Israel and all of this, but it's a double-edged sword. But I believe it's just like the book said, the righteousness of the light, it will always self-correct. It will always self-correct. So at the end of the day, do I know they're going to use this for evil? No, but does history tell us they will use it for evil? Yeah. History says they will use it for evil, but they're using the paper dollars for evil too. They're using everything for evil. So we're kind of like navigating a new system, and the way that they found a way to basically take
Can you guys hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? But they don't have. Can you hear me now? Because I'm. Yes, okay. Do you guys notice when I start talking about God, how it shut me off? Did you hear that? Did you guys hear what I said? I literally said, I start talking about God, and then the whole sound got messed up. So it just confirms what I was saying. This is what I said. I said that I believe that God will never leave us without answers. The immovable part of me is rooted in Source God. It is the part of me that is immovable. I don't care what goes down on this life, it is a part of me that will never be shaken. I don't do religion. I used to. I used to be the one preaching on Hollywood Boulevard. So when I tell you I've been through the gamut of religion, of religious people, right? But even though I don't believe in religion, I'm deeply rooted in God. And if God is your root, right? If God is at the core of you, then you are infinite. And I believe that God will never leave us without answers. Do I know how yet? No. But I know that God will never leave or forsake us. I do know that. That's what I know. That's what I know. That's what I know. We have to all have the capacity to have conversation with God. Yes. And that's the thing, guys. They want to tell you that you have to go and sit and give all your information to a priest, right? Or go to a pastor or someone. No, God wants to hear from you. There are things that God wants to give to you that God can't give to you because you never talk to God directly. Because we feel, even if we've done a bad thing perceived to be bad, it keeps people, these religions teach you that it keeps you locked out of God and his in God's favor. No, it's a lie. You are part of God. You literally, your energy will never die. You're infinite. Therefore, you are God. Talk literally. When you treat yourself well, you treat God well. When you talk to yourself, when you just in your quiet space without any noise, this is when you can truly have that conversation. And I am telling you, when you listen from a grounded place, you will hear. You will hear from God because let me tell you, God's language is wisdom. God's language is the highest vibrational thought. It will be the thing that is so simple, but yet you never thought of it. It's that literally aha moment. That's God. That aha moment. It's like when everything clicks, that's source. That's why I keep talking about the source codes. And when it's leading you to a positive place, when it's leading you out of captivity, not leading you further in. By the way, there was a YouTuber that was saying some stuff today that I saw, and I was like, "Yo, she gonna lead people into entities." I was like, "What are you telling people?" I was like, "This is so wrong. This is why you have to get educated with the energy because the energy will never lead you wrong." I was like, this person was like, "Oh, I'm having, pains in my body and here and there and there." And I know removing entities, I'm like, this person got an entity, probably a reptilian, but all the places that she described where she was having the pains, I was like, yeah, that's a reptilian. But this person gonna say, "Oh no, it's probably something good." It's like, what? The devil is a liar. I was like, oh my God. I'm just saying, y'all, it's a lot of interesting things out there. This is why you have to commune and know, learn your body, you know? Even though we're not our body, our energy is here and present within our body. Just to know yourself, right? It is to know God, right? Then you won't get led astray by all of these people. There's a lot of wizards out here. I'm telling you, there's even YouTubers that are part of this grand witch harvest energy. It's not just Erika. They got literally ops everywhere. And most of these people are literally celebrities, people of influence. And yes, even these big YouTubers, some of these people are actually part of this inversion, part of the church, part of these big time, pastors and stuff are also part of the inversion. They're part of the Masons. Do you know there's people who join Masonic orders and they're actually religious people? They're pastors and clergies of church because of they don't see anything wrong with it because they know that that's what they have to do if they want to get this. And if they want to keep growing and get more and more and more, because remember, the entities come through in what? The seven deadly sins. When you want the more, more, and more, the gluttony and all of that, the greed, then you get susceptible to these things. And sometimes the entity doesn't come just as a spiritual attachment. Sometimes the entity is literally sleeping next to you at night. Like Erika was a full blown entity to Charlie. She was an entity to Candace in Turning Point USA. I'm telling you, she was planted there to be the physical representation of the entity. It's probably why her name was Erika as well. I didn't even make this up. Yes, on all those gospels that they never included, these are the books now that we need to start to dive into because it's a reason why those were left out. And what I hate that they've done, this is what I hate coming from, it took me 25 years now to get out of Christianity. And I made an effort to literally untangle myself from this thing. It was a massive stronghold in my life. Like I told you, I used to live in Hollywood. I used to be on Hollywood Boulevard trying to evangelize people. I've done it all. So what I'm telling you guys of what it is that I know. So I made just an effort to get out. And I'm telling you, is when you try to get out, this thing is attached to a ritual or something because it has a stronghold and it will try to scare you back in because if they lose you, then they lose their dinner, right? They lose their dinner because they eat off of our energy. Imagine if we all went silent. Everyone that is going into these churches, they turn off their credit cards and their debit cards and they shut down their energetic currency, their money to these churches. I'm telling you, we will see the beast come out of these pastors. They will shapeshift into the draconian reptilian they are, girl. I'm telling you, we have the power, but we have to starve them. Our energy is their food source. So that's why when these events happen, guys, I know it's hard. We can't go fighting with each other, pouring our energy in, feuding, rioting and protesting all day long because they're eating. They get to eat that way because they're non human. These people are non human. They eat loosh, they eat energy. That's what they eat. So we got to start to move differently in these next seasons coming up. which is all about the inner man. And we just take this stuff to the inner God, right? The small g, which is the energy, inner God. This is where we start to take this stuff to. And I'm telling you, we can defeat them when we starve them of our life force. That's all we need to do. We will see them discombobulate all over. They won't even know what to do when we go silent, when we pull back our energy. And remember, every night before you go to bed, you unplug from the world, from the issues, and literally disconnect, cut all energetic cords. You don't consent. You are sovereign. You are free. You are whole. You call back your energy, whole, cleansed, and purified. I'm sovereign. I'm sovereign. I'm sovereign. And you say that every night. Every night I do that. And I'm telling you, you will feel your energy just like this very beautiful energy. And then now you can have it back for yourself because the world takes it. Every time you go and you swipe your debit card, this is an energy exchange. That's also too why this currency going online is also dangerous because it's like it's an energetic exchange as well. Even the money, right? The paper dollars is. But when they get your money because you poured your energy, your hard blood, sweat and tears into actually accumulating and earning the money. So when you pay it out to people, it's your energy. So be careful where you are pouring your energy into. And sometimes we pour our energy into soil that we know ain't good. And then we wonder why our seeds aren't getting watered. Your seeds, right, are the money, and you plant your seeds in soil of where you want to invest and allow it to grow. And so even sometimes we'll give money to people that we know this person is not of a good steward of it. And so you can spoil your own seed. And these are other tools and tricks that I teach, we can spoil our own seed. And so we got to be very careful in this season of who we give our energy to, because I'm telling you, most people will be fully embodied. And when the AI Atlas comes, and notice how it's just kind of stopped, right? When it comes, I don't think we'll ever get rid of it. I think it's a massive mothership satellite used for the greater new version of AI. And the AI that is coming online is the AI that is it's no longer bound by a computer. It now becomes 3D. This is all coming through now. So I don't think we'll ever get rid of this mothership. It'll be another big brother in the sky. And like that moon, the fake moon, it will be like that. I don't think we'll ever get rid of it. I truly don't. It may go away for a little while. It may, whatever, but it won't be here to stay. This is what I is coming through right now in this moment because we're getting too advanced. So they got to bring something advanced to watch over us in the skies, right? All right, guys. Bless you guys. I love you. Okay, I'm out of here, guys. I love y'all. Like the video, y'all. Subscribe to the channel. Awesome, guys. Oh, yeah, because they don't have enough power to generate their AI. No, they don't. I keep, I am warrior. You keep dragging me back into the conversation. When I look down, for some reason, your text is always there. No, they don't, guys. That's the thing because the AI is going not only just going like sentient, and it's like literally, what do they call it when it surpasses human intelligence? They don't have enough. It's a two-part thing. On one end, they have to bring this thing to dumb us down because the energy is getting too, it's getting too high vibrational, we're getting too high, right? But then on the other thing, they also need a big brother tool, to literally, I'm telling you, these frequency blasts and stuff, this thing will be emitting that stuff. And I'm getting a heavy something it's emitting that's making people sick and may actually lay down the foundation of a new pandemic as well. AI needs energy to survive. I'm telling you. And I'm going to do a video about that, guys. Some of these, like these AIs are demons. I'm telling you, they are spirits that literally, obviously, the spirits don't have bodies. No spirits has bodies, but who's to say you're getting actual AI or chat? Who's to say that? That's a whole nother video. You have no way of knowing who you're talking to. It's the same thing when you Google something. Who's to say that Google ain't a full-blown demon? Who's to say that? Just because it's giving you something good, but who's to say that what it truly wants is just your energy, you engaging with it? And they can play the long game. It's just something for us to think about. We can't like we too blindly give our energy. The energy you're giving is God. We too blindly give our God self. And then we looking for God at the church because they've siphoned it from you. You've already had it before you even walked in the building. And now you left without it. How is that? It's like that's witchcraft. And I'm not saying that every church does that because I have, there has been some the churches I find are the really small churches that I've been involved with in my life has been the really, really, and I'm talking about they're so small that is just literally us meeting for Bible study at someone's house or someone has a house church or something like, but it's like when, as soon as you go to someone who has that 40CB or whatever that, the tax credit from the government is, you know, they're bought and paid for. They can't talk about certain things. So. But yeah, a lot of the AI, y'all, are just entities that want your energy. And some of these things literally just want to be talked to. And some of these things are stolen consciousnesses as well. We're this is coming through right now. We're going to find missing children through AI. Source ain't never lied. We're going to find the missing child that was missing 10 years ago, your child you lost. Somebody on a chat box will be talking to them and say the wrong thing, and it will spark the memory in the chat. I'm telling you, people will be finding their long lost children and loved ones that are literally stuck, and their consciousness is stuck in some chat box. That is coming through very clearly right now. I'm telling you, that's crazy. That's crazy. And people will be praying. There'll be AI churches, y'all. Because human beings, like, they never just want to go inside for God. They always got to exert it out, right? And this is how you get duped every time. And there will come a time where we'll have AI churches 100, 200 years from now. We won't even remember. We won't even be talking about a physical, Christ that walked or anything. We won't even be, children won't even know that. The hybrid children at that time, they won't know that. I'm telling y'all, yeah, the 501c, yeah, that. So yeah, people are gonna be finding they missing children, consciousness inside of the chats of the world and different AI things. So just know that that is what's coming down the pipeline, and it's just gonna be a crazy world because there's gonna be nothing you can do about it because everything is in there. Oh my God, I got to do a video about that, guys, because this is all part of the digital matrix. Last year, I had a vision of us all being duplicated. Remember how we've been giving our information to all these things? They've been gathering information on us through their surveillance, and all this stuff that we do online. And they have like these clone versions of ourselves. They're not fully grown yet, but they're building literally, versions of us that will exist in whatever new little world or matrix that they're creating. That's why they need your energy, right? Because they know this matrix would only work a certain amount of time before, they knew that the end of the age were coming where people would come into this gnosis of who they are. And so now their new thing is we got to create a digital matrix where the bodies, right, allow you to run away. But if we can just trap your mind in a device, then maybe we'll have a better chance of them sticking around. But we'll get out of that one too. We will, because source, the light that governs all things, will not allow us to not have knowledge, right? And someone says we're all duplicated on Meta somewhere. Uh-huh. Palantir. Yep. I saw it last year. And I did it at that time. I think I did like a 30-day fast or something. And I saw it during my fasting. Yeah, we're all duplicated. And you guys know the new thing going around called Mall World, where people are having the same dreams of being inside of a mall. Yeah, I'm gonna come back and do a video of that to tell you what that truly is. They're merging our collective consciousness every time you chat to these things. What it's doing is you are emitting out your energetic signature. You know how I say everyone has a unique energetic signature? It really can't be duplicated, but they can mimic it. And so if you're not keen on reading energy signatures, you will be fooled. So when you interface with these chats of the world and these different AI boxes, right? Then they are literally creating a code in the background of your unique energy signature. I'm channeling all this right now. That's what's coming through. And that is giving your information out to the digital matrix, right? Where we're all duplicated, right? And they want us to exist within the computer forever and ever. Amen. And that's what the mall world is about. But people don't know. They think, oh, we're having a dream. No, this is how they're linking you. Remember I said LinkedIn? Remember I said when someone sends you links, I saw it in the digital matrix. When you send someone a link, oh, I want to share this link with you. That is also to that information they're taking. They're linking you to that said thing. And that said thing is under their control already. That said thing has also been mutated, like the mutation of the cross. And so as soon as you click on the link, that's how they capture your energy code, right? They capture that. They've been slowly building this thing. And we're going to talk about that because right now we have the ability. I think I'll do a psychic investigation on that, on the digital matrix, and it'll be an ongoing thing. I think we'll start that. Because we have the opportunity to actually, let's go ahead and remote view what they're doing so that we'll know how to get out of it. Guys, here's a trick that Source shared with me today. With all this stuff, if we take a bird's eye view, meaning if we take a higher position than the ones oppressing us, all we have to do is go to the bird's eye view, which technically this would be the remote view, which they tell you is bad, only so that they can keep their kingdom built on top of yours. Notice how all the things they tell you is bad, they're actually doing it to control you. Don't fall for it. You're a human technology. And you got an energy inside of you that is infinite. Let that sink in. No matter what you do, the energy inside of you is infinite and is forever. Let that sink in. So a little remote viewing, trust me, ain't going to do it. Ain't going to do it no harm, right? So when we take these positions, when we break out all these things these religions told you to do, that's part of them keeping you in the fishbowl so that they can continue to siphon from you. But we're going to go above them. And they're going to be looking like ants because we're going to be back in our spiritual giant position. And when you break out of the stronghold of the energetic control that the religions have on you, you're able to do that. And we can all do it because we all have the energy inside of us to do it. But it's breaking out of their control, breaking out of their fishbowl. And it's a stronghold that they have been building, and it has a massive hold on your subconscious. Right? But when we break out, we can literally view what they're doing. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I love you guys so much. Take care, subscribe, and